Hello, it is about 3 minutes after noon. We're going to go ahead and get started. If I could just get you to let me know if I can be heard. I want to make sure that our audio is heard. If someone could type into the chat box if you are hearing me, that would be helpful. Yes, great. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I want to be very respectful of everyone's time. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, one of the groups that is leading the Yes on Recall campaign here statewide. We appreciate you dialing in to this Zoom. We want to give you an update on where the campaign stands and what you can do to help the Yes on Recall campaign. We are really outgunned in this fight. Gavin Newsom has a huge campaign war chest that the special interests have given him. All these campaign contributions, millions and millions of dollars, whereas we are a grassroots campaign that is funded by small donors and exclusively powered by volunteers. And we really need your help in these final days of the campaign. Real quick, if you are interested in asking questions, please type them into the chat box, or you can raise your hand and we can call on you at the end of the presentation for your question using audio and video. If you're on a phone, just hit dial *9. And then, of course, if there are any questions that you do not get answered, you can email us at info@reformcalifornia.org. With that, let's get underway. The first thing that I would like to explain is how the recall ballot actually works. By now, most of you, if not all of you, should have already received your ballot. In fact, if you have not received your ballot or a friend has not received a ballot, you should be concerned that perhaps you will not be getting a ballot and you need to contact your registrar of voters office in your county. The ballot started mailing 2 weeks ago, and all ballots should have been received last week, the latest being this past Saturday. So if you do not have a ballot, you need to contact your county registrar of voters office, and you need to encourage your friends to contact them as well. You can check on the internet by searching for your county registrar of voters office. In many cases, the information as to your ballot will be located on their website. So you can actually search for where your ballot is on their website, and it may tell you that no ballot has been mailed for you. But definitely starting today, throughout the next couple of days, contact the registrar of voters office and demand a ballot. If anyone that you come across in the coming 2.5 weeks says, or 3 weeks starting tomorrow, says that they don't have a ballot, please advise them that they will not be turned away from voting. That under the state law, anyone can walk in to a polling station, even as late as election day, and demand a ballot be provided to them. They will have to fill out a form and give some information, including their identification, but they will be given a provisional ballot. No one should feel like they missed a deadline to get a ballot. Under state law, everyone is allowed to vote, even up to 7:30, 7:45 at night on the election day itself. But what we would like to encourage is that everyone get their ballots in order before September 14th, so that you don't have a rush at the end, or someone doesn't have an excuse as to why they're not going to get a ballot. When you look at your ballot, you'll find 2 questions. The first question is very important. In fact, it's the most important question, and it's the recall question. It reads, should Governor Gavin Newsom be recalled? And then in brackets, it says removed from office. You must encourage a yes vote on this first question. Ask individuals to fill in the bubble for yes. If they do not vote on this question, Gavin Newsom may win and retain his office. We must get a majority vote on question 1 for yes in order for Gavin Newsom to be fired or recalled. This is very important because a lot of the people I'm hearing from are confused, and they say, well, I'm not going to vote yes on Gavin Newsom, Or I'm going to skip that first question and I'm just going to vote for the replacement candidate. No, you got to vote yes on question 1. Now, assuming we get 50% plus 1 on question 1, then question 2 becomes pertinent. And that question is, who should replace Gavin Newsom? And there are 49 names on your ballot, plus write-in names. You can write in some names. There's a handful of write-in candidates running. But it does not require a majority vote. Whichever individual candidate wins the most votes will become governor, assuming that the first question gets 50% plus 1. So for example, Ronald Reagan gets 28% of the vote. He's the winner because we won 55% on the first question. What's the latest polling showing? Well, it shows a very close election. Assuming that the Democrats return 22% greater number of ballots than the Republicans, this is still a tied race, 46 to 50% with 4% undecided. But if we get more Republicans and independents to vote in this election, if we're able to get greater turnout from independents and Republicans, and we win a decent number of Democrats, typically what we're seeing is about 1 out of 5 Democrats, then we can win pretty comfortably. With a 14% Democrat vote edge in the election, we win by 9%. Now, this election is basically tied. And so it's all going to boil down to whether you vote and whether you get your friends, family members, and colleagues to vote. That's why we need you to be a volunteer in this election. Turn out the vote is our biggest challenge in this election. In terms of the replacement ballot, we have not taken a position on candidates. We've not endorsed candidates, but I can share with you that right now, Larry Elder, in all of the polling, is a dominant leader on the replacement ballot. I know that some of you have asked questions about the Democrat, Kevin Paffrath, that has been polling very close to Larry Elder in some of the publicly available polls. I want to caution you that the media is only testing one Democrat in the polls that they're using, while they're testing 7 or 8 Republicans. Kevin Paffrath, therefore, is what we call a stalking horse. A lot of Democrats are just telling the pollsters they're voting for the only Democrat that they're given an option for. What we are seeing in the polling that includes more Democrats is that the vote is splitting pretty evenly across the Democrats. So we do not expect Kevin Paffrath to get beyond Larry Elder, assuming the current polling holds up. Larry Elder right now is the by far leading the polling. I want to take this opportunity to really reinforce that it doesn't matter who you support on this replacement side of the ballot. We need volunteers and supporters to get their friends to vote yes on recall, and then let them vote for whoever they want on the replacement side. Don't get into an argument with them, and let's not have the focus be on the replacement. We need to focus on Gavin Newsom failing as a governor and getting a yes vote on the first question. So with that, what do we need you to do? We desperately need you to become an active volunteer. The best way to do that is to download the I-360 Recall Gavin Newsom campaign cell phone app. The reason why you need to do this using your cell phone app is that we update a list of voters that we're targeting. We are not targeting every household. We're not targeting every voter. We are targeting about 800,000 lazy Republicans who have a spotty record of voting. We are also targeting roughly 2.5 million independents and Democrats who we believe we can win in this election. We need you to use the cell phone app because that's the only way you will get a targeted list of voters we're going after. The app also makes it easy for you to volunteer. It does a calling feature that allows automated dialing. You don't even have to dial numbers. You just sit there and the phone calls are routed to you for you to talk to the voters. It is free. It is also anonymous. So you don't have to worry about someone having your name associated with the Yes on Recall campaign. They will not be able to call you back and yell at you. You simply sit on the app using it to call and talk to voters. We find that human contact is so much more important than television ads. The second way that we need you to volunteer is to walk your neighborhood. Again, the app is the vehicle by which you will get a list of voters in your neighborhood that we want you to knock on the door of. Do not go to every home, only go to the homes that the app instructs you to go to. Again, we are skipping homes where we know that they are either already voting yes on recall, have already returned a ballot, which means it's a waste of your time, or are absolute Newsom supporters, and we don't want to bug them. We don't want to get into a fight with them. So we are walking door to door using the app. We also have a need for text messaging using our single click preloaded message platform. That is not using our app. We use a different system for that, using laptop computers or home desktop computers. If you're interested in that, please sign up for that at yesonrecall.org and click under volunteer. In order to get the cell phone app, please go to yesonrecall.org, click under volunteer, and sign up as a walker or a caller. You also, if you're going to walk door to door, need materials. There are 3 ways to get our door hanger. Option 1 is to pick up the door hangers from your local Republican Party office in your county. I encourage you to call them first to make sure that they're open and that they have materials. Option 2, in San Diego and Orange County, we have additional pickup locations. We are also doing deployments in these counties, working with the county parties. The list of events are on our website at yesonrecall.org. Click under events. Option 3 is you can print at home. The link is on yesonrecall.org. Let me show you real quick how to get the app and how to get the print at home flyer. You go to your browser, you type in yesonrecall.org, and it takes you to this page. Yesonrecall.org will take you to this page. As you scroll down, you'll find reasons to recall Newsom, which we will talk about in a moment. You also find a list of events that you can click under, or as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have a door hanger, you can always click on this link. It will take up, it will bring you to a page where you can print out this simple 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. You can do this at your home printer and make about 30 copies of this and just leave it at the door or hand it to the voters. It's very simple, black and white, very simple to get the information. To become a volunteer and get the app, you click under Become a Volunteer. And you fill out your information. And you will click either make phone calls or walk door to door, or you can do both. To get the app, you must ask for the app by clicking on these 2 assignments. Then you will submit. Within 24 hours, you will get an email from a group called I360, and you will be able to then get your credentials, a username and a password to activate your app and start making calls and to walk door to door. If you would like to make text messages from home, you can also click under that by filling out this information, and then we will give you a call and log you into our text messaging system. Now, moving back over to the reasons to recall. The reasons to recall are on that website, yesonrecall.org. They're also on the door hanger, as well as that 8.5 by 11 palm card that we showed you how to download. I know that you probably have a list of reasons to recall Gavin Newsom yourself. It's probably very long, but we would like you to focus on 5 key reasons. They all relate to a common theme. Sacramento is broken. It's corrupt. And that removing Newsom is really about sending a message that we want to shake up the broken system in our state. The 5 reasons are, number 1, California is unaffordable. We can't afford housing, gas, food. We have the highest taxes in the country. The mandates are destroying jobs. California is unaffordable. We can't make ends meet. Excuse me. Number 2, crime is skyrocketing. Newsom has coddled the criminal, and it has led to the worst increase in crime in decades. We've had murders, violent crime, and robberies all increase across the state. Number 3, schools are failing. Newsom closed our schools. Our kids were not in school for a year and a half. And even when they're open, our schools are failing. They are the bottom 5th and only getting worse. Number 4, homelessness and filth is everywhere. Newsom is spending good money after bad, and he is wasting money on these programs, and it's only getting worse. Number 5, special privileges for politicians. Newsom shut down the economy, but then he dined without a mask with lobbyists. Newsom forced the unemployed workers to wait months for benefits, but he never missed a paycheck himself. Then he gave himself a raise. Newsom's children were allowed to go back to school in private school. Your children in public school had to stay home. The special privileges for politicians particularly allows us to win independent voters and Democrats. Common objections we're hearing. Number 1, Newsom gave me a bunch of free stuff. I'm getting $600 of stimulus payments this month. Good response is Newsom did not care about you when you lost your job. He only started paying attention and giving you stuff when his job was on the line. Another objection, if you hear from a Democrat, I'm a Democrat, I'll never vote Republican. The best way to win them over is to say, I'm not asking you to vote for a Republican. You can vote for a number of Democrats on the replacement question. There are 9 Democrats running, but you need to vote yes on the recall because we need to send a message that all politicians, no matter what their political party is, that they should be held accountable when they fail or break public trust, as Newsom has. That's the messaging that we're hoping that you will convey. We also have efforts underway to monitor election integrity, which is super important. We are concerned about voter fraud. And we see ballots being mailed out to people who no longer live at homes, are dead, or are not eligible voters in the first place. We've also seen reports of theft of ballots throughout the state of California. We need you to monitor this and alert us immediately to any issues that you see in your area. In addition, as you talk to voters, ask them if they've received any bad ballots at their home. If they have, encourage them to go to the website problemballots.com, problemballots.com, so that they can report the problem ballot that they've received and that we can use that as part of our evidence file for any litigation that we may file. Your tasks. Well, number 1, please go to that website, yesonrecall.org, and sign up as I instructed by clicking under one of the volunteer tasks. Get the app. You're not a volunteer to walk or call until you get the app. Number 2, go and post on social media your encouragement to vote yes on recall. If you go to the Reform California social media page or go to Carl DeMaio on social media on Facebook or Twitter, you will find posts that you can repost to your feed. Third, please initiate your calls from home. The app is already available. You need to get on the app, familiarize yourself with the script, and start making the phone calls. And finally, we do need you to walk your neighborhood. Ideal time to knock on doors will be in the evening or the weekends. Please carve out time, no matter when you have it, to make your door-to-door rounds. The other thing I want to share with you is our campaign ad that we are launching statewide. And that's not the campaign ad. Here it is. We will also be sharing that ad in Latino state on Spanish speaking stations to target Latinos. With that, let's entertain any questions that you may have. I'm going to first go to the chat box, but if you need to raise your hand to ask a question, please do so. All right. First question is from, will we be able to hear the presentation again? Yes, we post, not this exact presentation, but there is a presentation posted on our website, yesonrecall.org, that will walk you through the finer points. Katie says, I still do not have access to any walkbook areas that are in my area. The walkbook assignments are all 100 miles away. Okay, so what you need to do is email help@yesonrecall.org and ask them to provide you with an app in your area. So if you email help@yesonrecall.org, that is the best way for you to alert them to the fact that you need a walkbook in an area that is closer to you. The next question is, will there be handouts for you to take door to door? Yes. You can download the handout at yesonrecall.org as I showed you, but you also can get a door hanger in your area calling the Republican Party, the county Republican Party. Reactivated phone can I-360 call. You can call, but the walk gives no assignment error. That's from Stuart. Stuart, email help@recall, yesonrecall.org to get get to alert the help desk. Let's see, got some other people in the chat. Shirley asked, does the text message count again against the user's phone service? No, the text messaging, the phone calls are all paid for by our campaign. It is an absolutely free app and free assignments for you. So no charges will be incurred by you for using the app or for texting. Any other questions? Dominion machines. The Dominion machine issue has been an issue that we've been monitoring. Please recognize that the Dominion machines are not used in all counties, but there are counties that use Dominion machines that are controlled by Republicans. And so there are ways for us to monitor any anomalies, any changes or hacking going on. We don't believe that the Dominion machine issue is as big of a risk as ballot harvesting is in California. By mailing out ballots to people who are no longer at residences, or to mailing out ballots to dead people, or triplicate and duplicate ballots, that creates a much larger risk for voter fraud. And that's what we are monitoring and evaluating litigation to stop. And so that's where we are focusing our efforts. I wish that we would get rid of the Dominion machines and just do paper ballots and a hand count. But failing that, the most important thing for voter integrity that we can focus on is flagging problem ballots and looking at any other instances of inappropriate handling of ballots throughout the state. And that's why we need you to alert us to those issues at problemballots.com. Beverly says or asks, why are there holes in the envelopes? A yes vote can be seen. I've seen that video too, Beverly. It is not the same case in every county. We've looked at that. There was one woman who showed how it could be seen, but recognized she put her ballot in exactly so that the yes vote could be seen. There are 8 other ways she could have put the ballot into the envelope where the yes vote would not have been seen. So we think that this might be a coincidence rather than intentional, but we are looking at it and evaluating it. But we always urge people, when you put your ballot in the envelope, take a look on the outside to see what is seen through the hole. Another question is from Julie. She asks, should we encourage, Julie's question is, can you request a paper ballot at the polling location that is not a provisional ballot? Julie, you can surrender your mail-in ballot on election day or at the polling locations of the registrar of voters that are open in advance of the election. They will then provide you with a poll ballot, and you can cast that. If that makes you feel comfortable, then do it that way. But let me be clear. We are encouraging all voters to immediately return their ballots, even if it's by the U.S. Postal Service. Here's why we want to encourage people to return their ballots to the Postal Service immediately. Because most of the voters we're talking to are low propensity voters. If we don't urge them immediately to return the ballot, chances are they will not actually return the ballot. Election Integrity Project California is urging people not to return ballots until they walk into their polling station. Well, if you're a highly motivated voter, I don't mind that. But if you are one of our target voters, that advice is not helpful. That advice will lose the recall, and we do not appreciate that advice. We urge you to get people to vote in any manner that they can, and do so immediately. Do not let them wait until September 14th. That provides way too much risk that they may not actually return their ballot. You are able to harvest ballots by asking for the voter to turn the ballot over to you. There are rules that you must follow, though, for harvesting. Number one, the voter must complete the ballot themselves. In other words, they have to fill in the yes vote for recall and vote for a gubernatorial candidate of their choice. You cannot do that for them. They must put their ballot in the envelope and seal it themselves. They must sign the outside of the envelope. And then you must fill in your information in the ballot harvest section on the outside of the ballot. You then are obligated to drop it at the registrar of voters. And there are a number of ways to do that. You can take it directly into their office, or most county registrars have a list of ballot drop locations throughout their county. You may also put it in the mail, but we urge you to use the ballot drop locations for the most security. If they don't want to give you their ballot, that's fine. Urge them to immediately fill out the ballot, put it in the envelope, sign it, seal it, and put it in their mailbox and put the little flag up for the postal man to, or postal delivery person to pick up the mail. Shirley's asking, can a voter check to see if their ballot has been processed? Yes, the Secretary of State's office has a website called Track My Ballot, and you can go and look at the status of your ballot and whether it's been put through the mail, received by your registrar or voter, and whether it's been processed. So you can certainly track the status of your mail-in ballot. I'm urging everyone to vote by mail now so they can then monitor their ballot on that website rather than waiting to the very end to drop it in the mail and then not know whether it was received. If someone votes by mail today and the website still does not show that that ballot has been received by the Postal Service or received by the registrar of voters, then I would urge that person to go in on election day and demand a provisional ballot. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. If the ballot ultimately is received at the registrar of voters office and is counted, the provisional ballot will not be counted a second time. So that website can be used to track your ballot and to make sure that your vote is counted. Question on how you can get signs and how you can get bumper stickers. Well, we are sending signs and bumper stickers out at the website, Yes on Recall, and you can find that here under store. There is a sign option, order your lawn signs, or you can order bumper stickers on the website. So those two options are available for you. Question, should we encourage people to drop off ballots or vote in person? I encourage people to mail or drop off their ballots at approved sites now. Do not wait until election day. Either mail it or drop it off now, and then track it using that website I mentioned. Can I pick up door hangers? We covered that question. Okay, so that covers most of the questions I see here. I don't see any others. Talked about door hangers and the presentation, getting walkbooks, and the cost of calls, etc. If you have any additional questions, please contact us at help@yesonrecall.org. help@yesonrecall.org. If you have issues with the app, if you want any technical assistance, or if you have any additional questions, just email us at help@yesonrecall.org. And I hope that you will get out there and vote and help us with the volunteer side of this campaign. We absolutely will not win unless you step forward and take an active role. Thank you so much.